Then this is very important to me. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. We can have a whole discussion on that. Emotional intelligence, also known as emotional quotient (EQ), is a unique trait which is different from IQ, intelligence quotient. It has been found out today by researchers that emotional quotient (EQ) is one of the strongest determinants of leadership success. Okay, and that people who are more highly emotionally intelligent are going to be more successful in life than those who are just intellectually intelligent. That's in those who have a high IQ. Okay, unfortunately, emotional intelligence is not developed in the classroom. It's developed on the ground in the field. How do you develop emotional intelligence? Through pain, suffering, failures upon failures, hardships, difficulties, crises, challenges. The more you go through these problems and you learn over time how to overcome them, you build emotional intelligence over time. Okay, you can't develop emotional intelligence just by sitting in the classroom and learning some courses, getting some lecturers talking to you. That's not how you develop it. You develop it in real life. So I'm sorry, but the academic system will not give you emotional intelligence. What about financial intelligence? Okay, there's a difference between the fact that, for example, you have studied finance and accounting in school will not necessarily make you financially intelligent. Okay, so for example, the average person believes that when you finish school, you get a job, you get money, you buy a car, right? And then you ride the car, you are happy. To them, the car is an asset, and it's not their fault. That's the accounting definition of an asset: property, plant, equipment, machinery. A car is a machine, therefore a car is an asset. But when you learn from successful rich people in the world, they will tell you that a car, a private car that you are riding, is a liability, because this is the definition of an asset from rich people. Okay, like Robert Toro Kiyosaki. He will tell you that an asset is anything that brings money into your pocket, period. A liability is anything that takes money from your pocket. Finished. So on the basis of that definition, if you buy a private car and it's taking money from your pocket in the form of the fuel you buy and repair and maintenance then it's a liability. But if maybe you're able to turn the car into something else, maybe a commercial vehicle or something maybe for Uber or Bolt or something, and it could bring cash, then it's more or less an asset. You understand? So you see that this is just one simple lesson, okay, that you learn under a course in financial intelligence. That you see that the concepts are reversed. What they will teach you in school regarding an asset is different from what an asset truly is. And this is coming from rich people, a multi-millionaire. So you have that professor sitting there who can't even survive when government doesn't pay his salary. He's telling you that an asset, a private car is an asset. And then the rich guy is telling that no, it's a liability. Who do you think you have to listen to?
Well, maybe if you want to pass that professor's exams, you have to listen to him.
Yes.
But if you want to succeed in life, you have to listen to
exactly. But in the end, how many people may even get exposed to like what I'm talking about? How many accounting students understand what I'm talking about? It may be the first time somebody is hearing that. Oh, really? Of course, I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I also learned the accounting definition, and I thought that, when you buy, look at some of these young guys. Even some of them, they just completed SHS. I'm sure you see some of them in town, and then they get some money from somewhere. Maybe they'll convince their uncle or auntie abroad or something to give them money, and then they will use the money to go and buy a huge, expensive smartphone, maybe costing like 4,000 Ghana cedis. You just graduated from SHS. You have probably even failed many of your papers. Okay, and then you are using a huge smartphone, and they are happy. They will show it to their friends. They will take pictures. But that's a liability. It will cost you a lot of money. Okay, at that age, to maintain that phone, even data alone, it's money.
And even for such phones, to even a slight crack on the screen can cost you like 2,000.
Yes.
Which can buy another phone.
Look at all those issues, but many of them don't understand that. They think that it's kind of a luxurious, way of living. So you see that the education system really does not prepare students for the job market or for life. In real life, you need what is called resilience, okay? Resilience means the ability to bounce back after several failures. So you fail, you bounce back, you fail, you bounce back, you fail, you bounce back. No, the education system does not teach you how to be resilient. What about creativity and innovation? The education system does not teach you to be creative and innovative. And the way they even examine students, okay, shows that they are programming you to be stereotyped.
Yeah.
How many professors in the academy do you know who will not penalize you when you don't solve the problem or answer it the way they want you to answer it? Matter of fact, in certain universities, some of the professors will actually give you questions, likely questions, and then some will even ask their TAs, teaching assistants, to come and help you solve them, and then they will tell you categorically that, okay, I've given you 7 questions, I'm bringing 4. Some of them can actually point out those 4 questions. All you need to do is make sure you attend the TA's tutorial lessons, take everything seriously, and just solve them over and over again, and then come and reproduce the same thing to the professor and get your A and go. That's it. Some of them also will just pick past questions and just repeat them, past questions. Yeah. So if you think you're a serious student and you want to learn the lecture notes and even do additional researches, go to the library and study a lot of books and take notes because you want to understand and answer serious questions to impress your professor. The professor says, hey, I don't need you to impress me. I need you to do that which is parsimonious, okay? Don't try to impress me. Go and get past questions, solve them, and come. That's your preparation. So, matter of fact, in many of these institutions, you can decide not to attend lectures the whole semester.
Yeah.
Only study past questions. They call it PASCO. And then you will get an A. Another person may attend lectures throughout the semester and even study more than all the others. But because he or she did not study PASCO, the person will fail or get a C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Doc, like on the face of this, the one whose transcript is showing that he has gotten an A in that particular course is deemed to be intelligent than the other one.
Yes.
When in fact that may not necessarily be the case, that what appears in the transcript may not necessarily reflect what the person has in his mind.
Exactly. That's why today CEOs and HR heads of many companies are realizing that it is not enough just to employ somebody because they brought a certificate which indicates that they have first class. Nobody takes that seriously any longer. So you may have first class, we will still make you go through the process and find out whether you have what it takes. And it turns out that a lot of so-called first class students normally don't have what it takes. Many of them are just people who are able to chew things, memorize things, and that's all. But you see, in the industry and in real life, we need more than that. You need creativity and innovation. Creativity means that you are able to come up with new ways, okay, of solving a problem. Innovation means that you don't have any frame of reference, okay, but somehow through your intuitive or gut feeling, you're able to figure out the solution to the problem. You create new ideas, new solutions, new tools, new concepts. These are essential attitudes and skills that you not get from the educational system. The second point I wanted to note is that success in the job market and life also requires living by some set of values and ethical principles. Some of these values include integrity. Okay, the educational system will not teach you to have integrity. Okay, let me give you a case in point. So you have a professor in the academy who tells students that whenever you are submitting your research assignments or take-home assignments, pass it through a software they call Turnitin. Make sure your Turnitin score is less than 20%. All that they are trying to say is that do not copy the answers to my questions, okay, right from your head. I want to get your ideas, all right? But this professor in question, the questions he gave to the students, he stole it from another source. In other words, he did not sit down to set the questions by himself, but he stole the question from another source, and he's telling the student not to steal. You see that? So see, that's the problem. Faithfulness. These are values the educational system will not teach you to be faithful. You have to learn to be smart, in quote, so that you can pass. That means that if it means you have to pay, you know, there are some of the universities you can pay to get exam questions. I hope you are aware of that.
No, I'm not.
Okay, let me even worsen it. You can pay to get the exam answers.
Okay.
Some universities in this country. Yeah. You can get it from some of the TAs. And especially if you're a lady. Oh, it's very easy for you. See that?
Yeah.
Yes. What about trustworthiness? To succeed in business, you must be trustworthy. There has to be trust. There has to be truthfulness. The education system does not inculcate these values in people. What about transparency? What about service orientation? True education is supposed to train people with a mindset of wanting to serve society. No, the kind of mindset that graduates have today is how they will get money from the system. That's why many graduates today, it's rather sad to say, but will never get jobs to do, because many of them are thinking of what they will gain from the organization, not what they can contribute to the company. I mean, we've had a lot of them coming for interviews. Okay, they come for interviews, they don't have the skill set, and then they will tell you that, oh, you know, you can pick me, you can train me, you know, I'm going to pick up 3 months, I can pick up, I can do the job. Okay, so they expect you to train them for free, and then you give them a job and pay them. When you tell them, okay, you know what, we'll train you, but you got to pay for the training, and then when we give you the job, we'll pay you, they are not happy about that. So the average person who has been through the education system is not thinking really of service, serving the community, serving the society, serving the nation. No, they are thinking of what they can get from the system after school. See, that's wrong. What about altruism? Altruism is the opposite of selfishness or egocentrism. Okay, so how many people are really thinking of doing something that will benefit the larger community of humanity beyond themselves? No, many of us are trained to be selfish. You know, and then you can see in the academy they will say, oh, you know, it's about independence. But you see, look at even the examination system. The fact that everybody has to sit behind their desk and then do what they call independent work, I don't see it as independent work. I see it as a form of selfishness. They are training you to focus on you alone, how you pass, and then you go your way. So maybe, and then they will tell you that, hey, make sure you don't communicate. It's part of the instruction. Don't teach anybody, don't communicate. Okay, so they will say, yeah, you know, we want you to be independent, but I see an element of selfishness in it, because it means that, okay, everyone, each man for himself, God for us all, so to speak. So go and learn. Come and sit there behind. Yes, everybody, you have your own index numbers. Learn, make sure you pass. You go your way. You understand? But that's not it. So there are really a lot of things wrong. Of course, the educational system, as you can see, has really failed in inculcating some of these values in its graduates. See that? So if you are talking about whether the tertiary education system has, adequately prepared students for the job market and for life, I will still insist that it's no. Look at the collapse of many of the banks. Okay? The KPMG report shows that there were a lot of factors. Basically, weak corporate governance and then lack of professional ethics. So we have people who call themselves accountants. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ghana claims to be training professional accountants, but these are the same people who will be in banks and will aid in the collapse of the banks by stealing money. That's it. So what is the essence? Clearly the educational system has failed. And we don't have time to talk about corruption in the public sector and among government officials, all of who also pass through the system. All the government guys, they pass through the system.
Yeah.
So if there is corruption in society, we can really look at some of you spoke about the agents of socialization. Today we are just focusing on education.
Yeah.
Maybe later we'll talk about the other agents.
Yes.
We'll look at maybe the family, the religious systems and institutions and all of that.
The mass media.
Yes, the mass media, and then our socio-cultural settings. Because if there's corruption in society, all other things being equal, we are a reflection of ourselves. If you vote for people, for example, if we vote for people to become leaders, and the leaders are corrupt, all other things being equal, it means we, the people who voted for them, are also corrupt on a larger scale.
Because it came from us.
It came from us, and it that in that sense, you realize that then corruption would be deeply rooted in culture. So then we have to look at the link between our culture and corruption. For example, in corruption theory, what we call the supply side of corruption has a correlation with some cultural practice. In our indigenous settings, when somebody does something good to you, you try to show appreciation. but in the corruption literature, that is called supply side corruption. So at what point would you be distinguishing between supply side corruption and then showing appreciation? See that?
Yeah.
So you see that there's a correlation between the indigenous culture of a people and then corruption in the system as a whole. But we don't have time to talk about all of that. Again, true education should develop students to utilize the full powers of their minds and brains. Let me say it again. True education should develop students to utilize the full powers of their minds and brains. Ghana's tertiary education system has failed to do so.